So it says railway fares of first, second, and third classes between two stations were in the ratio of 8:6:3. The fares of first and second class were subsequently reduced by 1/6 and 1/12 respectively. If during a year the ratio between the passengers of first, second, and third classes was 9:12:26, and the total amount collected by the sale of tickets was rupees 1088, then find the collection from the passengers of first class. Alright, so we have to find out that out of this 1088 rupees which has been collected as a total fare, how much has come from the first class passengers. Now, what are the two important ratios given to us? One is the ratio of railway fares, right? The ratio of fares is equal to 8:6:3. And the ratio of passengers, right? The ratio of passengers between first, second, and third classes respectively is 9:12:26. Alright? Now you understand what is meant by total amount, right? Total amount here, or for any particular class, would be equal to what? The fare into the number of passengers. Right? Like for example, let's say the fare is rupees 10 between two stations for first class, and if 100 passengers have traveled, what will be the total amount? 10 into 100, 1000 rupees, right? And so on for the other classes as well. So basically, I would see if I know the ratio of amount collected between first class, second class, and third class, I can divide 1088 in that ratio to get the required answer. But here that ratio is not given to us there. Instead, we have been given the ratio of fares and ratio of passengers. So if I simply multiply the two ratios, I mean the terms, respective terms in these two ratios, I would get the ratio of amount from first, second, and third class. You getting it? This is first is to second is to third. So if you simply multiply, like for example, I can say that the amount of, the ratio of the amounts will be equal to what? 8 into 9 is to 6 into 12 is to 3 into 26. Right? This can be written as the ratio of the amounts. So divide 1088 in this ratio to get the required answer. But remember that there is one more important point given in the question here. What is that point? Let me highlight. It says the fares of first and second class were subsequently reduced by 1/6 and 1/12 respectively. If this statement is not given, what is highlighted in green here is not given, then we can simply divide 1088 in this ratio. Whatever, 72 is to 72 is to 78 to get the answer. But then, because of this condition given to us, we'll have to be a little careful, right? So he says the ratio, the fares of first and second class were reduced by 1/6 and 1/12. See, if the fares were reduced by 1/6 and 1/12, it is obvious that the amount collected will also get reduced by 1/6 and 1/12. You getting me? Ideally, we should reduce the fare ratio. Like for example, if the fare, let's assume this is 8x. What do you mean by 8:6:3 here? We can say that the fare of first class is 8x, the fare of second class is 6x, and the fare of third class is 3x. Similarly, number of passengers. We can say number of passengers in first class is 9y, that in second class is 12y, and third class is 26y. And we are trying to do a multiplication of respective terms here, like 8 into 9, 6 into 12, and 3 into 26 to get the ratio of the amount. But before we go to the amount, we have to reduce the fares of first class and second class. By how much? 1/6 and 1/12. Now, there are two ways of doing it. Either reduce 8x by 1/6, 6x by 1/12, get the new ratio of fares, and then multiply. Or directly reduce the amount. Because you know that fare and amount are directly proportional to each other. If the fare is reduced, the total amount will also get reduced. You able to follow? So, what we can do is, to reduce the complexity, let us directly reduce the amounts by the given values. First of all, let us simplify this, right? 8 into 9 is 72, 6 into 12 is 72, and 3 into 26 is how much? 78. So this is in the ratio of 12 is to 13, right? 12 is to 12 is to 13. Now the simple calculation to be done here is the real amount, the actual amount ratio. The actual amount ratio will be equal to what? See, the fare was reduced by 1/6. If the fare is reduced by 1/6, what is the remaining fare? 5/6. It was reduced by 1/6. So you have to reduce 12. Let's say the ratio is 12 is to 12 is to 13, right? So which means what? 12 parts, and 13 parts. So reduce 12 parts by 1/6. Reduce 12 parts by 1/6. So out of 12 parts, if you reduce 1/6, how much will be left? 10 parts. So this will be 10. Out of these 12 parts, see this is for second class, right? The second class fare was reduced by 1/12. So out of 12 parts, reduce 1/12. So from 12 parts, if 1/12 has to be reduced, remaining will be 11. And the fare for third class remains as it is, right? I mean, the fare for third class is not changed. So it will remain 13. So this is the final ratio, 10:11:30. Now divide 1088 in this ratio to get the required answer. So how much is the amount collected from first class? Amount collected from first class will be equal to 10 parts out of 10 plus 11, 21 and 13, 34. 10 out of 34 into 1088. So I think this would go 34 into 30 is 1020 and 68, right? So 32 times that. 32 into 10, 320 would be the final answer. Option 4, 320 will be the final answer. Please do not go by the length of the explanation or the number of steps that I have put on paper, right? I mean, this was done just to make sure that all of you follow it clearly. When you solve it yourself in the exam, a lot of these steps can be cut down, right? Let me highlight all those steps in red. See, phase is equal to 8:6:3. This ratio you need not write on paper. I mean, it's anyway there in the question. I'm just writing the same point again. Similarly, passenger ratio 9:12:26 is given in the question. You should directly start with this point, that the amount ratio will be 8 into 9, 6 into 12, 3 into 26, and then reduce it by the respective values given here, right? Like for example, it got reduced by 1/6. First class fare got reduced by 1/6. Second class fare got reduced by 1/12. So we are reducing the amounts accordingly. So there were total 12 parts. Out of 12 parts, I have to remove 1/6. 1/6 of 12 is 2. So if you reduce by 2, 12 will become 10. Second class fare got reduced by 1/12. So 1/12 of 12 is 1. So reduce 12 by 1. It will become 11. 13 remain as it is. So this is the final ratio. Divide 1088 in this ratio to get an answer. Alright, so your final answer to this question will be rupees 320, which is option 4.